folks, Dr. Robert Barrington here with some more nutrition advice. Fluoride, it's a very controversial issue. Those people that are aware of health issues will possibly be aware of the fluoridation of water and the fluoridation of toothpaste. And there is a growing awareness that perhaps we've not been told the entire truth with regard why this fluoride is being put into certain products and into in some cases in certain countries into drinking water. Now, I don't want to cover that with this video, but what I do want to do is cover very quickly a suspicion that I've had for a long time, which may explain some of the results from studies that have shown that fluoride is beneficial to the prevention of dental caries. Now, very briefly, the problem with dental caries comes from a poor diet that's particularly high in sugar. Bacteria, particularly Streptococcus bacteria, are able to use that sugar as a source of energy, and as a byproduct they produce acid. That acid then demineralizes the teeth, and that causes damage to the teeth, and that can lead to dental caries, which eventually could destroy the tooth. So I've always suspected, and a lot of nutritionists will tell you, that poor quality teeth can be really produced by a poor quality diet. If you eat a high quality diet, you don't allow those bacteria to have such a readily available source of energy. If you keep the sugar content low, and that decreases the amount of acid that they can produce, because it decreases the number of those bacteria that will be present in your mouth. And your mouth, like your gut, is a battlefield between beneficial bacteria and detrimental bacteria. And if you feed the beneficial bacteria, they overwhelm the detrimental bacteria, and you can keep your oral cavity much healthier, and particularly with regard the quality of your teeth. So really, that's how dental caries, that's how damage to your teeth occurs, through poor diet, through particularly the consumption of sugar. We're told that fluoride is beneficial to your teeth because it hardens the enamel, and this prevents the formation of these holes in your teeth, these dental caries, which are caused by the acid produced by the bacteria. We're also told that if you consume the fluoride systemically will get into your system, and it will again mineralize the teeth and make them harder, mineralize the enamel and make them harder and more resistant to dental caries. The problem with this is there's a lot of controversy regarding how fluoride actually works, and to be honest, looking at the literature, if you read through the studies that have been done, even now it's not entirely clear how fluoride works. Some people suggest that you have to apply it topically to the teeth. Some people say you have to consume the fluoride, and it has to get into your system in order to be able to mineralize the teeth, and some people claim that both is the truth. I think there is another reason why fluoride is actually beneficial, and I think this is the reason that has deliberately been hidden. I think they are quite well aware of how fluoride works in the oral cavity. Fluoride is a poison. It's a poisonous mineral in high concentrations. It causes damage to cells. This is a biologically known phenomenon. If you add fluoride to bacteria, the bacteria have problems with their growth rates. They are effectively destroyed, and the rate of the replication of the bacteria is significantly inhibited. The reason for this is fluoride has a number of ways that can actually damage metabolism within cells. One of the ways is that it inhibits enzymes. It's known, for example, that fluoride can inhibit glycolysis. It has a certain ability to inhibit certain enzymes in glycolysis, and there's also an ability for fluoride to actually inhibit the electron transport chain. And this prevents the bacteria and all cells actually producing energy. And if the cell can't produce energy, the apoptotic processes in the cell will be triggered, and that cell will die. And if you're killing bacteria in that way, if you're killing cells in that way, clearly they're not going to be able to replicate an increase in number. There are other ways that fluoride is also able to kill cells. Fluoride can, for example, increase the permeability of cell membranes, and this is particularly problematic If you're a bacteria and you're a single cell and your membrane becomes increasingly permeable, eventually the transport processes across that membrane that you require in order to be able to survive will break down, and your cell will die, and that bacteria will die, and therefore the growth rate of the bacteria as a whole, of that type of bacteria, will decrease and it will be reduced. And this is really where I think fluoride is actually having an effect, and it would explain the effects that you see in the literature, and it would explain the results that are seen and how they don't really fit with the model that we're told that fluoride is acting to mineralize the teeth. Now, I'm not denying that fluoride could cause changes in the mineralization of teeth. That is evident, and you can show that. But what I'm saying is that is not the way that fluoride, when it is applied onto the teeth or into the oral cavity, that is not the way. I don't think, from what I've read, the way that it has an effect to actually have this beneficial effect. Effectively, what I'm saying is fluoride is a poison. If you apply it to the bacteria in your mouth, it will kill those bacteria. If you kill those bacteria, it's no different to taking a mouthwash, which is an alcohol solution, and alcohol has a very similar effect in terms of membrane permeability. Anybody that's been to school and done basic biology and chemistry will know that if you apply alcohols to cells, there's a very a common experiment that's done with tetrahymena. If you apply different alcohols to those tetrahymena, which are single-celled organisms, it breaks down the permeability of their membrane, and that effectively kills the cells. So alcohol, for this reason, is used to sterilize surfaces. It's used in microbiology to be able to sterilize and kill bacteria. And therefore, if you take a mouthwash and you put alcohol into your mouth, it's going to have an effect on the bacteria. And I think, from what I've read, this is the way that fluoride works in your mouth. Now, you might think, well, I'm advocating the use of fluoride. I'm not, because fluoride is a neurotoxin. It's a known neurotoxin, and really, is that the best way to kill the bacteria in your mouth? Would you rather take something that's safe, have a healthy diet, and keep the bacteria in check, or would you rather put a poison in your mouth in order to be able to kill them? That's really the question of where I'm going with this video. I'm not saying that fluoride doesn't kill bacteria. It does kill bacteria. It may have a beneficial effect on teeth, although really those effects, I think, have been largely exaggerated. My point is, there are other effective ways to control the bacteria in your mouth to make sure that you have good oral hygiene. Having a good diet and not eating a lot of sugar is the first thing that will have the biggest impact on the effects on the health of your teeth, and keep your your beneficial bacteria in your mouth in good health, so that they can outcompete the detrimental bacteria, and they can therefore maintain the health of your oral cavity. But there are other substances as well that have been shown to be very effective at killing and keeping in check the Streptococcus bacteria that are responsible for this acid production. And one of the substances that I just briefly want to mention is are the compounds found in tea. Green tea contains a number of different catechin compounds. It contains catechin, it contains epicatechin, and it also contains gallic acid conjugates of those two flavonoids. And these have been shown to be very effective at inhibiting the growth of Streptococcus bacteria in the oral cavity. And interestingly, they may work in a very similar way to fluoride. They may actually inhibit certain enzymes that decrease the glycotic rate within the bacteria, and they may actually cause some changes to the membranes. So I just wanted to make this video very quickly, because I don't think a lot of people talk about this. Many people are obviously aware of the dangers of fluoride, but looking at the biochemistry of how it works, there is more to this study. There is more to this story than we've been told. There are plenty of papers showing the antimicrobial effects of fluoride, and that antimicrobial effect is at very small concentrations. So the amounts that you would put in your mouth from toothpaste or from other methods of, of some dentists will apply fluoride to the teeth directly, they are certainly high enough to cause inhibition of these bacteria that can have a damaging effect on your teeth. And I'm suggesting that possibly that is actually the mechanism that fluoride is having in your mouth. It's acting as a poison to kill these bacteria, and it has less to do with the mineralization of the teeth, which has its own problems, because that mineralization, although it may harden the enamel, it may actually make the teeth more brittle. And certainly there's a problem with dental fluorosis if you have too much fluoride in your mouth. So it's just something to think about. I'm throwing this out there. It's not talked about a great deal. It's something for you to go and research and have a look into yourself. There are plenty of papers if you go to Google Scholar and you have a look at the antimicrobial effects of fluoride. It's very interesting, very difficult to prove one way or the other, but what is interesting is that a lot of the studies that have been done on fluoride and its effect on teeth are actually quite old, and if you have a look through the literature and you have a look at the studies that have been done on fluoride, they're getting on for 40 years old, a lot of these studies. And I find it very interesting that there isn't modern research in this area, or there isn't a large amount of modern research in this area, given the fact that there is a very large amount of power lobbying for the fluoridation of water and the fluoridation of toothpaste, for example. So again, that's something else that I find interesting. It's worthy of discussion. So I hope you found the information in this video interesting. I hope it's piqued your interest to go and do some further research. As always, eat well, stay healthy and protect yourself, and I will see you soon for another video. Take care.